Hey y'all, happy Thursday. Welcome to How I Became a Black Woman Digital Nomad, options for Black women leaving toxic jobs and countries. So if you are interested in these types of conversations, I will be sharing bits of my journey, the process of making my exit strategy to exit a highly traumatic DEI style role, which led to a spiral of anxiety, depression. There was a lack of support in the role that I was in. And so just making a strategy to save myself was absolutely essential. And we see during these times, like, these times are dire, right? These times are highly stressful, highly chaotic on purpose. So the more that you can establish your grounding, your sense of power, right? No matter what is happening around you externally, grounding into yourself and realizing that you have the power to make an exit strategy from whatever is not serving you. And so I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Marissa Price. I'm a Black woman social worker and freelance coach, helping Black women create exit strategies from toxic work environments, from places that are not serving them, to heal from the highly traumatic environments that a lot of us are in day in and day out, that make us question our inherent worth, that make us doubt our skill sets, that we have to put up with a lot of negativity from people above us, right? Supervisors, and we know that the workplace is highly hierarchical in the Western world. So that is very real. Hey, good to see you here. Yes, if you're joining live, please let us know in the chat. And if you're watching on the replay, please feel free to leave a comment if anything resonates with you. But yeah, these work environments that we're in tend to zap the life out of us, right? On purpose. So this is not an accident that they do this. Because we are in jobs, especially in the US, where work is the center of our lives, literally spending 8, 10, 12, 14 hours at work. And so if you are being traumatized in your work environment, that's not right. If you are being subjected to criticism, vitriol, Black women are often experiencing abuse, right? Whether physical abuse, which we have heard. My Summit co-host and I, Dr. Kamani, which we have heard. Black women literally being physically abused in the workplace. Emotional abuse, right? And so these are very real. So if you are in a work environment where you are experiencing this, the consequences are not small. And something I had to sit with, right, as I am in the process of rebuilding my own self-worth from that highly traumatic work environment that, again, did not provide me with adequate support, resources, understanding of my role. I was teaching myself my role as I was in it, put in a DEI style role after the murder of George Floyd in 2020, in the chaos, right, of the pandemic that we saw. It was a lot, right? On top of having to convince people that the issue that I was assigned to work on was actually an issue. So that was a lot. So all that to say, if you are experiencing something similar, know that you're not alone. And I had to create an exit strategy out of that work environment to literally save my life, as I've talked about on this channel before. The consequences are not small, right? A lot of us are in spirals of anxiety, depression, questioning our worth that we were so sure of when we came into this workplace. And by a matter of someone questioning it, right, doubting it, then we start to internalize what they do to us, and we start to do it to ourselves. And that's where that spiral comes into play. So it's really important to be able to know that self-preservation is your birthright, right? You must preserve yourself at all costs. We see attacks from multiple angles, especially on Black women in the workplace, in this current environment. And so how can you make an exit strategy that suits you on your timeline, knowing that if you're in an emergency situation where you are thinking about harming yourself or someone else, that's the break the glass moment, right? That's when you need to get out, like immediately. And this is very serious. This is a very serious topic, right? A lot of us will feel like, oh, it's just work, right? It's just a job. Again, if you're being exposed to this level of abuse and mistreatment, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day, this is the majority of your life that you're experiencing this. How is that impacting your health? We have seen real health consequences that Black women have experienced, right? Mental health, physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. How this has a ripple effect on our families who are also harmed, right, through vicarious trauma, through seeing us be traumatized in toxic work environments, right? So know that you have the ability to make an exit strategy. That's what the upcoming Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women, second annual, will help you do. We have over 15 Black women speakers coming to share knowledge, resources, tools, strategies, so that you don't have to start from scratch. Because if you're in a traumatic work environment, like the thought of having to create an exit strategy, you may not have the bandwidth to do that. And believe me, I know. And that's why we're sharing resources with you at the summit coming up May 16th through 18th. So please get on the wait list if you're not already for when tickets go on sale next week. And I'll link it in the chat here. Yes, here is the list to get on the wait list. And it's also scrolling on the screen. But yeah, so part of my strategy to become a digital nomad, and I still have some issues with this term, right? So I'll be open about that. Who gets to label themselves a digital nomad, and what is the difference between being a digital nomad and someone who's immigrating to another country, right? So there's still like some things that I'm working through with that term itself. But basically, I work on my laptop. So you see my setup here. I have my webcam, I have my laptop, I have my earphones, I have my mic. Do I have anything else? I have a mouse too. And that's it. That is the makeup of the tools that I use to be a digital nomad, a freelancer. I am a Black woman freelancer, and I also created a community of other Black women freelancers, as a lot of us are embarking on this journey to take our skills back for ourselves and explore different areas of interest. So we would love for you to join us over there. There's been a lot of great conversation. We just had an accountability meeting yesterday, which was great. So if you're looking for accountability on your journey of exploring freelancing, hey, Stephanie, good to see you here. Good to see you here. Yes, and I have Exodus Summit linked in the description as well, because that was a huge part of my journey to be able to realize that there were other options available to me besides toxicity, right? Being in a DEI style role, which a lot of Black women are in, right? And we see people being fired left and right without any acknowledgement of the labor that you have put in, the heart that you have put in, because when you're in these roles, you're also sharing your lived experience over and over and over again, sometimes with hostile audiences who don't really want to hear what you're saying, right? And so the impact of that is not small. And to know that you have options to be able to reclaim your skills for yourself, pivot out of that environment, and be a freelancer if that's your dream, right? Entrepreneurship is not everyone's dream. So I do want to say that, because it can be a lot, as I share openly. But if this is your dream, to be able to take your skills, work with your dream clients, know that it's possible. Hey, good to see you here. Kicking it with Cam, redefining hustle. I love that name. Good afternoon, Marissa. Happy to catch you live. Yes, thank you for being here. Yeah, so like I said, if you're looking for inspiration, for accountability, for resources, for support, if you are transitioning to freelancing, even exploring it, because you can also be a part-time freelancer. You don't have to jump into this full-time. I had a strategy over a period of, it was about a year. It was about a year for me to transition full time into freelancing. So if you're not ready to jump in full time, know that you don't have to. And it can actually be a better process often if you take your time transitioning into working with clients, so you don't feel so rushed in the process and you're able to kind of hone in on who your clients are, who you want to work with, what your offers are, how you attract them, right? The behind the scenes setup of invoicing, payments, email. So give yourself time with that process too, because if you do rush it, it can kind of seep the joy out of the process. So do want to say that too. Yeah, so please join us over there. We have weekly accountability calls now, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Can you tell us what your schedule looked like during that 1 year transition? When did you do what? What did my schedule look like? So yeah, so I was in full time work in a corporate environment, 9 to 5. So I was working remotely too. So I do want to say that I know some people are in the office and that may make the process more difficult, because I had time to at least be at home to gather resources, make my plan. So I was working full time Monday through Friday, corporate environment. Um, and yeah, little by little over time. So I was a part of Rashida Dow's group from Burnout to Bliss. And that was, I think we met monthly. And so I joined that, was that May of 2022? Yes, it was. I think it was either April or May of 2022. So that's the first step, joining from Burnout to Bliss. Um, Having monthly accountability calls, which is why I'm now creating this community, Black Women Freelancers. The power of having other people who are on the same journey as you and seeing what they're doing, it kind of gives you that like motivation inside to be able to be like, oh, I can do this too. Right? Even if it seems impossible, because my goal was a year out, being around other Black women who were boldly refusing to accept toxicity, burnout, overwork, and making a strategy to pivot out of that, even if we're all told, right, this is the only pathway for so many of us. And it's like, no, absolutely not. You don't have to accept this as your life if it doesn't feel good to you. So yeah, in that process, monthly accountability calls, coming across Exodus Summit, attending Move Abroad Money that year. I think that was 2022. And again, if you want to join Exodus Summit, let me link in the chat here. If you are a Black woman and you're looking to travel, move abroad, take a career break, please join here. Being in that community, attending the summit, I think I watched the replays of the 2021 summit during that time, and slowly just kind of gathering my acorns, right, to be able to understand what this process would look like. Because I had no idea. There was something in me that's like, this is not going to be my life, right? Because at that point, I had been working essentially two roles in the job that I was in, being asked to take on the DEI style role after the murder of George Floyd, which was completely draining to every part of me. And that's why I'm like, I make a lot of videos for Black women in DEI roles, because believe me, I was there, right? Trying to pour in every part of me to be able to affect change. And then really having to come to the radical acceptance that that is not going to yield any real change or results in the environment that I was in. It can be different based on the environment that you're in. But the one that I was in, it would only lead to my burnout, my detriment, right? The deterioration of my mental and physical health, coming across a brick wall every single day, right? It felt like. And then experiencing going from pet to threat, right? Being brought in for my expertise, my skill set, specifically around Black women entrepreneurs, and someone being intimidated by that or threatened by that. And that process being so disorienting, right? A lot of us are taught to, again, internalize the mistreatment and abuse that we experience as we're doing something wrong. That's false, right? That's actually a tactic of oppressors to make us question, am I doing something wrong? Do I need to contort myself? Do I need to like silence myself, mute myself a little bit more? And it can send you down this endless pathway of trying to take pieces off yourself when you were never the problem in the first place. So yeah, that period, attending Exodus Summit, again, still working full time. I didn't transition into full-time VA work until May of 2023. So that was a year from when I joined from Burnout to Bliss, May 2022 or April 2022, I think, to May of 2023. Attending Exodus Summit, coming across Digital Nomad Kit, which was the training program I completed to give me an understanding of the online business landscape, because that was completely new to me. Having been educated in business school formally, like I have that understanding, but nowhere in that was how business looks today. So I've had to re-educate myself, right, on sales funnels, e-commerce, all of these huge terms floating around, and how Black women can actually be leaders in this space, because we have the skills, we have the knowledge, we have the expertise, and we see a lot of other people taking this route to gain more freedom in their lives. Why can't we do it too? Yeah, so transitioning after about a year into being a virtual assistant, which is what I started off with when I went into the world of being a digital nomad, freelancer, and wrapping up my time as a virtual assistant last year. So I was a virtual assistant for about a year and a half, and now transitioning to coaching, right, as a social worker, providing healing resources if you are healing from a traumatic work experience, a toxic job, racial trauma, which I have found kind of is the reoccurring theme. And I see, hey, Timon, good to see you here. Tuning in from Ecuador. I love that. Thank you for joining. Hey, Carol. Good evening from South Africa. Good to see you. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. Yeah. Freelancing. So pivoting into coaching. So if you're looking for assistance making your digital nomad strategy, if you're interested, you can always book a call with me here. Also linked in the description. I'll put in the chat too. And I would love to help you make a strategy for how to exit a job, exit potentially a country, if that's the route that you want to take. And I have found just on my journey of freelancing, sometimes it can be really difficult to transition into freelancing in the US because we don't have a lot of the things like they do in, say, like Europe, where we see a lot of people becoming freelancers, right? We don't have healthcare that's guaranteed. That's like the biggest thing, right? And so how do you make your strategy? Sometimes it does have to be a two-part thing, right? I want to become a freelancer, and that's also going to maybe require me to leave the US because of the restrictions, the lack of support, right? Just for being a human being and a citizen of a country, we're not provided resources that other countries provide, given the foundations of the US. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind too, something I've been sitting with. Yeah, and also if you are interested in doing the 5-day free VA challenge by Digital Nomad Kit, which is the training program I went through to understand the online business world, it is coming up April 21st through 25th, and you can register here. This is my affiliate link. Please register here if you're interested. Yeah. So being a digital nomad at this point, looks like being able to travel different places. So I'm currently in Guadalajara, Mexico at the moment. I've traveled to Querétaro, Mexico. I've traveled to, what else have I traveled to? San Miguel de Allende, Mexico. Mostly around, so Mexico is the only country I've been to so far outside of the US. But I've traveled through Mexico. I've been to Playa del Carmen. I've been to Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico City. I feel like there's another one I'm missing. I could be wrong. But yeah, just basically traveling around Mexico as a digital nomad. And again, my setup is what you see. So this is me every day, which again is why I created Black Women Freelancers. As a solopreneur, it can be really difficult to have that sense of motivation, especially if you're used to being in an office environment where you're kind of getting that inspiration from other people. When it's just you at your laptop, having a community to check in with regularly, like, how are you doing? Are you going outside? Are you getting sun? Right? Are you drinking water? You're not just sitting at your laptop, hopefully for 10 hours straight, which is what I was doing when I first started. Do not recommend, right? Giving yourself breaks, treating yourself kindly, which can be difficult if you're just transitioning from a toxic work environment and you have internalized the treatment that you experienced. But it is a process. It is a process. So yeah, let's see if please join here, Black Women Freelancers, also on YouTube. And I'll be uploading behind the scenes things. I love the tech setup of online business. So I'm in Zapier right now, which is the automation tool. And it essentially like works behind the scenes to add people to your email list if they sign up for what's called a lead magnet, which is a free resource. You can add them to sequences so you don't have to do everything yourself manually, because that can drain you really quickly. So that tool is called Zapier. So yeah, I'll be sharing different like behind the scenes tools, marketing, identifying your clientele, messaging, payment setup, all these things on Black Women Freelancers. So please subscribe. Let me put it here. Please subscribe. And hey, y'all. Hey, Mimi. I know. Hey, Kyoka. Mimi said, not me catching all the laughs lately. I was going to say, I haven't seen you in a minute besides that post you made. And now I'm seeing you all the time. I love it. Hey. Hey, Kyoka. Yes. If your job quits you. Yeah. Yeah. I'm an accidental nomad. My job quit me in 2022. I love that diamond. Yes. Yeah. Ooh, and that's real. Brings up something else, like the amount of layoffs that we see. Ooh, in a lot of different industries, right? And so having a pathway to be able to utilize your skill set to generate income in the event that you're laid off from jobs that we were told were supposed to be secure for a lifetime. And we see it just like evaporating like that. It's like, okay, no, that was clearly not true. And so like the sense of security that you can develop and cultivate by leaning into your skill set in working with your ideal clients, again, entering into it at your pace, but at least building it may be helpful for the event, like in the event that you do, right, experience the layoffs that we see, which hopefully you don't. Yeah. Hey, Breathe. Good vibes. Good afternoon, Marissa. Despise office walls. Oh, I know. Those are the worst. Good to see you here. Yeah. Hey, good to see you. I catch up on a live. Hey. Always good to see you, Natalie. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so if y'all have any questions for me, let me know. I'll continue racking through my memory to see if there's any other helpful tips that I can provide you with. But please register for, or get on the wait list at least for the virtual summit coming up that I'm co-hosting with Dr. Kamani of Lifting as We Climb Consulting. We will be co-hosting the second annual summit to help Black women leave, right? Plan your exit strategy from either a toxic work environment or a job that's not serving you, and heal. Because leaving is the first part, and that takes a lot. Even getting to that point of working through that fear that has been so deeply ingrained in us, right? That nothing else will come our way. Knowing that before we were in that job, we were doing something else. Unless you had this job from the time that you were born, before the job, you were doing something else. But it is the trauma often, the demands of a capitalist society that kind of put blinders on us, right? That this is the only thing that we'll ever be in. So we just have to get used to the toxicity. We just have to get used to people undermining our work and underpaying us and adding on additional roles besides the one that we agreed to in the employment contract, right? So a helpful tip that I would share, like if you are being asked to do multiple roles, potentially, right, hopefully asking for a revised job description, which I wish I would have known. No one told me that. Because that's actually like against the law, right? While they're still in place. You want this in writing. You want everything that you do in writing. And know they're not doing you a favor for hiring you or giving you this role, because you're contributing, right? There's a reason that they sought you out for this role, because you have the skills, the talents, the abilities, all the things that you need. And so that may be helpful too. Yeah. Yes. I love it. I feel the hearts. Thank you. Yes. Healing, do the work. Yeah. Thank you, Diamond. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. So let me link that in the chat again. If you're not on the wait list, tickets go on sale next week. We would love to see you there. Again, we have at least 15 Black women speakers coming, and from all different areas, sharing their expertise in a community where you participants at least are not on camera. So cameras are not allowed. If you are scared someone's going to find out that you're there, you can also change your name within the Summit platform. So you have that option as well, to be able to still suck up the information, the community, but having that concern for remaining anonymous, because a lot of these workplaces, unfortunately, that's real. That's a very real fear. And so, yeah, please don't let that keep you from attending, because again, participants will not be on camera, only speakers. And you have the option to change your name if you want to be completely anonymous within the summit, May 16th through 18th. Oh, wow. Seeing the Just Hilarious and Lauren LaRosa story going viral. Sad to see. Oh, I haven't seen that. This resonates. I'll have to check that out. Thank you. Min XOXO says, anytime I start a new job, I always email myself. Oh, that's such a good tip. The job description at the time I was hired. They can always make changes to it at a later date. Protect yourselves, ladies. Yes. Yes. That's such a great tip. I wish I would have known this, right? That's part of the reason why Dr. Kamani and I are co-hosting the summit together. Things that we wish we would have known before actually entering into a highly traumatic, toxic work environment, having a game plan and like preparing yourself for the fact that any work environment that you enter may become toxic, even if it doesn't start out that way. So what's your game plan? What's your strategy? Do you have ownership over your skills? No matter where you go, No matter what title you hold, no matter what environment you're in, no matter if you're an entrepreneur or you go back to 9 to 5, you have to own your skills, right? Jobs don't have ownership over what you bring in and what you contribute, even though they try to. You have to take that for yourself. Carol says, this is so liberating to hear. Oh, yay. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, the process of transitioning from being in a corporate environment, 9 to 5, to being a freelancer. And again, that strategy took me about a year to implement. And within that period, I took a leave of absence from my job for mental health reasons. And then I went back. Would not recommend. If there's any way that you can prepare for an exit strategy to be your last day, please do that, because you're entering back into toxicity when you come back from leave with a renewed understanding of what you're in, which is even more painful, right? So if you can make that a final, this is my last day, I'm not coming back, in conjunction with the leave that you take. And Jackie Abram talks a lot about this on her channel too. Making a strategy with medical leave, if you need to take that, for you not have to go back into that work environment. And I'll put her name here. Yes. Yeah, so it was a process of going through Digital Nomad Kids training program. First, their free training, which even if you're not interested in the full program, the free training is a really great entryway into freelancing. And I'll link it here too. There's another free challenge coming up April 21st through the 25th. And this is my affiliate link if you'd like to register. Yeah, and also being in a supportive community in the Digital Nomad Kit Challenge was helpful for me. That's the first time that I went live, if you can imagine it. I think I was on Instagram. I was on Instagram. That was 2 years ago. Wow, that was 2 years ago. That I participated in that challenge, went live on Instagram with my pitch, I think, that we developed during the challenge. And that was so scary. That was so scary. And now, this is second nature to me. Sometimes I still get scared, y'all. I still get scared. I'm an introvert, so this is always a challenge for me to go on live. But it's just like anything, the more that you practice at it, it becomes kind of a habit. It becomes second nature. And that's the process with talking about your business if you are an aspiring digital nomad or freelancer. It's knowing who you're talking to and then get comfortable constantly, consistently sharing your message with those people so that they know that you're talking to them and you want to work with them. And then how do they get into contact with you? Yes. Hey, good to see you here. Yep. Okay. So yes, the process of becoming a freelancer is a process of honing what you're going to be doing. So again, I started off being a virtual assistant, and my client base was Black women digital entrepreneurs. So I knew that that is who I wanted to work with because that is who I was in community with. So often the people, like our first clients, are often in our existing networks. Have you heard messages from people saying, oh, I wish someone could help me with this. I wish if I just had more time to do this, then my life would be so much better. And you know that your skill set can meet that gap. That's often the first entry point into your digital nomad freelancing journey, because those are your clients often. And so because I was in community with Black women digital entrepreneurs, again, coming across Exodus Summit, right, being in Rashida's group, From Burnout to Bliss, and yeah, just having having the knowledge about the challenges that people were having, needing more time to do certain things, was able to kind of take that information in and then offer that as a service as a virtual assistant, working on things like email management, um, sometimes lead magnet design, sometimes guest scheduling, sometimes landing page creation. And that's another thing about being a freelancer or a digital nomad. You have to get comfortable with flexibility and things not being set in stone, right? Which can be a whole unlearning process in and of itself. But you don't really know the tasks that you're going to be working on every day. Sometimes new ones pop up that you have to teach yourself how to do, that you have to know where the information is to find it. That's why community is very helpful as well, which again, please join if you are a Black woman. Black Women Freelancers here. So yeah, knowing who you're going to work with, knowing which countries you want to travel to. There are some countries that offer digital nomad visas that you may look into. And Adelia talks a lot about that on her channel, which I will link here. Picky Girl Travels the World. Knowing where you're going to travel to, knowing what equipment you need, keep it basic to start with, because that can become overwhelming if you are trying to get the premium of everything before you even get started, because those things are not cheap. So starting with the basics, right? Basic email, Gmail, which is free. Basic invoicing, PayPal, which is free. They take a percentage of the total invoice, but the platform itself is free. Kit as an email marketing platform, which has a free plan. What else can I think of? Those are really the basics that you need, right? Canva, if you want to create a portfolio, which is free, and link people to that. Calendly, which is free, I think, for up to 30 minutes. If you want to start having discovery calls with people, free. How can you take advantage of the free tools that exist in the online business freelance space to be able to start your digital nomad journey? Yeah. Just looking at my list here. So yeah, I would love to hear if y'all have any questions about anything, right? That's within reason. If y'all have any questions about like my journey from going from corporate again to a highly traumatic role where I was working in racial equity, stressful, right? Transitioning out of that over a year into freelancing, becoming a virtual assistant. And I did that for a year and a half. Now transitioning into mental health coaching as a social worker, co-hosting the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, sharing resources, knowledge with Black women globally, because we've had Black women from so many countries attend last year. And it's unfortunate to see that this is a global issue that we're dealing with in so many workplaces. So yeah, that is my journey. I'm trying to see if I have anything else to share. I'm gonna look at my notes. I think I'll just share like the fear of trying something new, giving yourself time to transition into freelancing, to become a digital nomad, if that is your goal. And you can also find remote work, which We have a guest who will be talking about that at the summit too. If you're not interested in being an entrepreneur or a freelancer, but you want a job that provides you with the ability to travel around the world, that is an option too. So I do want to say that. But yeah, the fear of trying something new, give yourself time to transition. Give yourself time to see what other people are doing and be inspired by that, and then take your own path from that, because your journey does not have to look like anyone else's. Right? Just because someone took the path of, like I did, making a strategy over a year, transitioning into being a freelancer, moving abroad to Mexico. If you don't want to do any of those things and you want your journey to freedom to look completely different, it's your journey, please. That's part of liberation, right? It's defining what that means for you in your life. Hey, yes. Can I get sponsorship info from the summit link here? No, I don't think so. Let me actually, thank you for this question. Let me get you the link because I did create a sponsorship document. If you're interested in sponsoring Job Liberation Virtual Summit, we have 2 sponsors so far, so thank y'all so much. And those will be announced when tickets go on sale. But if you are interested in sponsoring, we'd love to work with you. Let me see if I still have this link. Okay. I just put the link in the chat to the sponsorship document, and please reach out to us, support at Lifting as We Climb Consulting, if you're interested in sponsoring the summit. And we'll also have opportunities to sponsor other Black women to attend as well, because that was a huge thing that we found really resonated last year. Being able to, if you've already exited a toxic job, you've already healed, but you know that someone else is still in the throes of making their exit strategy, but they don't necessarily have the funds to attend, and you want to sponsor a Black woman to attend, that will also be an option that we will be announcing on how to do that too. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So yeah, know that you have everything within you to make your dream of becoming a digital nomad into a reality. Black women, especially YouTube creators, the wealth of knowledge that exists on YouTube to be able to make an exit strategy, right? And we have a lot of YouTube creators who will be speaking at the summit, which we're excited about too. Know that this is possible for you too. We see a lot of other people, groups, taking their skill set, transitioning into being a freelancer, if that's your path, or securing a job that allows you to travel, right? Unapologetically, like, no, this is, of course, this is open to me. But we've been taught so often that these options are denied to us. And so part of liberation may be like questioning that. Why can this person get access to it, but I can't? Don't I have the same skills, abilities, gifts, talents? Why can't I take this path if it's calling out to me? Why can't I travel the world, right? That's like the beauty of Exodus Summit that has shown so many of us. If this is your dream to travel, of course you can. Of course. And here's Exodus Summit. And let me link who else cannot talk and type at the same time? Because I just can't. I tried before. Okay. So yeah, reach out to us here if you're interested in sponsoring. Being a summit sponsor where you will get your logo, your business advertised to all of our summit participants, which is a huge opportunity. Again, this is a global community of Black women who are making their exit strategy from jobs that are not serving them, or who are healing from the aftermath of highly traumatic experiences at jobs. Yes, you will get, I didn't finish my thought, you will get your logo on the summit platform. There are different sponsorship levels, but if you're interested in even having a sponsor booth, that is an option this year. And having a message to attendees that that's something that you want to do, that is all within the sponsorship document, which I will link in the description after this live as well. Yes. Thank you, Mimi. Yeah. Okay, so know that it is possible for you too. There are so many resources that exist out there that Black women have created. Like, and really refuse to accept that our lot in life is just to be continuously harmed over and over again, traumatized, undervalued, underpaid, right? Which is the message that we have received for centuries, especially coming from the US. We've seen a complete liberation movement, right? That Black women YouTube creators have reignited. And I have been revisiting a lot of work of Black women freedom fighters throughout the centuries to be able to learn from them in the times that we're in now, where we see things being dismantled, where we see the lies being put on full display, where we see, like I said, being in a DEI role, that being completely rolled back after they told us for decades that they want us there. I am the product of DEI internships, right, in the financial services field. Clearly feeling at such a young age that people did not want me in this environment, no matter if I was at the top of my class. That didn't matter. I was still in a DEI internship, right? And some people had a problem with that, and they told me, again, as a student. And so all the lies that have been told to us are on full display, which provides a certain level of clarity, right, about what our power is, what our position is. Okay, you've told us how you really feel. And so with that information, I'm making my strategy, right? Not allowing it to, even though it is scary, I want to validate that, but to stay in a level of feeling stuck and completely fearful to where you can't really like even envision the next step. That's what community can really be essential for, to show you that there's a way forward, even if you don't see it for yourself right now. Did you clap because I can't type and talk? I did not know that's what you're responding to. Solidarity. Solidarity. Maybe I didn't even know what that was clapping for. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've been XOXO since I got into an accident. I'm so sorry. At the end of January, and I went back a week later. It was terrible. I signed up for short-term disability, and I haven't been back since. IDK, how I feel returning. Yeah. 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 I heed your warning on not returning, though. It for sure will get worse. Yeah. Yep. And that can be a hard thing to accept, right? Especially if you've invested a lot of time, energy, education into something that you may have thought it was your dream job at one point, and having like the acceptance that, okay, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And also giving yourself compassion for that, right? You didn't sign up for that, right? No matter the salary, no matter the title, no matter the organization, you didn't sign up to be harmed. And so with that information, you have the ability to now pivot out of that. Just as the same movement that took you into that job is the same movement that can now take you to another job if you want it, or into freelancing, right? Or into early retirement with a move abroad strategy, right? There are all these like really huge, vast options that exist for you versus the ones that are told to you. And there's a reason for that. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Yeah. And thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Choosing you is key. Mm-hmm. I've been struggling to find the balance between staying informed and aware, excuse me, and maintaining my peace of mind. It feels like I can't have both sometimes. Yes. Mimi, I think you're in my life over the past week. Yes. This has been me, right? And it's really difficult to stay aware of, like you said, the things that are happening left and right, right? And distraction is a real tool of oppression. It really is, to kind of harvest your energy towards wherever direction they want it to go in, so that you're not able to pour into yourself to fuel your community, to fuel the projects that you're working on, and your energy is completely scattered everywhere else with this executive action and this, like, so finding that balance has been difficult for me too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, if you are interested in becoming a digital nomad, you can do it. You can do it. Not saying the journey is going to be easy. As I shared, it took me a year of being in community with other Black women who are on the path that I knew that I wanted to be on. I didn't know how I was going to do it. So that's something that you kind of figure out along the way. That's not, and that's something I've learned, right? You can't really have the full manual for a transition like this before you even get on the road. You gain the information, the next step to take, right, as you're on the road of doing the thing, versus feeling like you have to have the whole plan before you get started. That can be extremely overwhelming. So give yourself time, grace, patience, lean into your skill set, which I'll be talking about at the Job Liberation Virtual Summit, May 16th through 18th. Take your power back, own your skills. What was the second part of the title? Own your skills and rebuild your self-worth. That is a talk that I will be hosting at the summit, which I'm excited about, because it really comes down to that. Do you have ownership over your skills? No matter if you are a freelancer, entrepreneur, if you're in a 9-to-5 job, if you choose to retire early, do you have ownership over the skills that you've honed and developed over time? No matter if someone else sees value in them or not, that's irrelevant. Do you have ownership over your skills? Because that can really be a pathway to help you rebuild parts of yourself that these environments try to strip from us, try to take from us, right? Try to make us doubt ourselves, question what we bring. You have to take ownership over that for yourself. So that's what I'll be talking about at the summit. Please get on the wait list for tickets that go on sale next week. I am behind the scenes working on all the tasks. I am in Zapier. If you're interested in online business, subscribe to Black Women Freelancers. But that's like a huge automation tool that exists to be able to make your business feel more easeful and to eliminate the manual tasks that exist. Because there's a lot and they can pile up. So yes, that tool is called Zapier, which I am in and about to return to after this live. Queen Lizzie, hey, late to the live, need to listen to the replay. Oh yes, it'll be up. I really need to get out of my job ASAP. I understand. Yeah. I understand. And we would love for you to join us if you are interested May 16th through 18th at the second annual Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women. Over 15 Black women speakers. We have the days broken down into the first day will be kind of a reset and a preparation for Saturday and Sunday with a very special, someone's very special to me, um, leading that on the Friday, the 16th, and into the 16th or the 17th and 18th, right, with healing, reclaiming yourself on day one, and then making your strategy to exit on your timeline. So this is not a rushed, right? That's not our message of you need to get, even though if it's an emergency, please consider that, right? That your health, if your health is at stake, yes. But if you have time to strategize, make your plan, breathe, and get into community with other Black women who are on the same journey, that's really our goal, right? For day two, to give you the tools to be able to make your strategy. And there will also be special bonus sessions, which we're excited about too, over the next 3 days after that. So yeah, it's a whole event. It's a whole event. If you were there last year, we received really life-changing feedback about people understanding, right? Black women understanding that they have skills. And it sounds so simple, like, of course you have skills, but when you're in these environments, it can make you feel like you don't have any skills at all. And so rebuilding those parts of yourself, right? Yes, you do. Yes, you do have skills. Yes, you are worthy. Yes, you do have the power to pivot out of toxicity. No, this is not your lot in life. Freedom is your birthright, right? Self-confidence, self-worth, the ability to express yourself. These are all things that are your birthright. And again, Black women globally, just sharing the common threads throughout our experiences, which was also really helpful for me. A lot of us have gone from pet to threat, coined by 3 Black women professors. Before I even knew that term, I was so disoriented with what I was experiencing. And that term freed me. I was like, okay, it's not me. I'm going from pet to threat, right? And immediately, like that, the blame that I have been internalizing kind of like disintegrated. And just realizing that it's not you. It's not you. So please get on the wait list. 4-win tickets go on sale next week. And yeah, I think that's it. If you have any questions, if you're watching the replay, please subscribe to my channel, this one and Black Women Freelancers. Please leave a comment below if you have anything that I can answer around freelancing, right? Pivoting into freelancing from corporate 9-to-5 role, and also moving abroad. Currently in Guadalajara, Mexico at the moment, and planning to check out some other locations around the world. Because why not? Right? I'm on Earth too. Something I've had to sit with because it has felt off limits by design. And even speaking to Black women from other countries, this feels like a really American thing too. To be scared, to have this level of fear and often inaccessibility around traveling. So something I'm going to get into as well. Given the foundations, given the roots, right? It makes sense. Being a descendant of people who were enslaved, who had their movement deliberately restricted for centuries, right? Generations, and having to sit with that, right? The impact of what we're doing collectively is not small. And it feels like monumental to see So many options being opened up to us that have previously felt off limits. Now being able to share information, resources, strategies, so that if you have a dream to be a digital nomad, you can do it too, right? It may not look the same way because everyone's journey is different, but just being able to know that it is possible for you can do a lot for your hope in these dire times. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, you are not inadequate at all. Yep. My manager and coworkers make me feel so inadequate. Yeah. No. Thank you for sharing that with us because that's real. That is real. But no, those are lies. And we're often targeted, right, in these workplaces because we are so brilliant. We are so powerful. And it kind of goes against what we're taught that if someone's treating you in a certain way, then it has to be something that you did. Where did that come from? I have ideas. No, absolutely not. And we're here for you. Thank you for sharing that. You're welcome, Natalie. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to Black Women Self-Love Journey. I love your posts so much. They always make me smile. So thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, please subscribe to Mimi's channel too, Voyager Collective, out here traveling with the Uber driver that just paused. That was so funny. The Uber driver paused the trip, had to do an errand on her trip. You gotta do what you gotta do. That's yes. Even though I have more education degrees than them. Absolutely. Yeah, I did a video about that on my channel. Like another degree won't save you, right? And just with the like prefacing that with if you want a degree, go for it. That's not what I was saying. But if you think that that is going to save you, shield you, it often makes you like the target on your back even bigger, which is confusing, right? Because we're told that education is a great equalizer. I think that's been proven false, right? Because the treatment that we experience often intensifies with the more degrees, with the more qualifications we earn and we gain. And so entrepreneurship is really the path that a lot of us are like, we have to get on, right? Because it's like, I'm constantly being viewed as a threat. My voice is constantly being silenced. I can't really be the full version of myself. And so we're put on this path because our brilliance. It's just there. It's just there. The Uber driver. If y'all want to see that story, head over to Mimi's channel on her post, her community post, Voyager Collective. That was cracking me up. Revisiting the trauma of our history. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, because if there was ever a time where we needed to reestablish connections to what people have already gone through, it's now. Right? It really is now. And so me like intentionally learning from Black women freedom fighters who have gone through right, just unspeakable brutality and refuse to have their voices silenced, right? No, I'm going to share what happened to me out loud. That has been like so, I don't know, life-changing for me to be able to sit with those narratives. So we need those. So yes, please revisit history. Yep. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, you're so welcome. Thank y'all for being here today. You're so welcome. Yes. And wishing you healing as well. Min XOXO. Getting him some coffee on my time. That's the level of ease I'm trying to step into. Okay. He paused that Uber drive. He said, I need coffee. Right. And so That's like the perfect way to end, right? How can you unapologetically pause, right? The metaphorical Uber drive to get your coffee, right? That you need to be well, the things that you need to be well, replace the coffee with that. And just radically prioritize yourself, right? That's true. That's true. Just came full circle. Full circle. I love that. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Yep. Yeah, the oppression in apartheid South Africa, we normalize the oppression. Yes. Ooh, and the importance of being able to see globally the common ties, right, which have attempted to be severed, those connections in our minds. That is just happening here. That don't zoom out and look at the other places that the exact same thing is occurring. And those global connections, that's where the change comes. Yep. Okay, y'all. So on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. But thank you so much for being here. Please remember, let me go through my banners that I created. Okay. Join my free Black Women Freelancers community. We have weekly accountability meetups now, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. If you are on a journey of exploring freelancing for yourself, wanting to become a digital nomad, a lot of great stuff happening over there. And this is a community that I've had for 2 years now. And just kind of reigniting it with my passion for freelancing and now having like the term for it, Black Women Freelancers, because it's gone through a lot of iterations. Those of you who have been there know, right? Giving yourself time to explore. Is this working? Does this name fit? And now it feels like Black Women Freelancers is it. So please join us over there if you are a Black Woman Freelancer. If you would like to speak with me one-on-one to plan your digital nomad strategy session, you can book a call with me here, also in the description section. If you have a freelance business, an idea, if you're wanting to reignite it, I would love to speak with you and help you do your strategy. So that is the link for that. Please join Exodus Summit, which is a community for Black women looking to travel abroad or move abroad. At this link here, if you are a Black woman, on Facebook, and the free 5-day VA challenge by Digital Nomad Kit, which is the training program I use to give me the entryway, the initial understanding of the online business landscape, which was essential to me becoming a virtual assistant. They have a free training coming up April 21st through 25th that you can register for here. If you're also interested in going live on social media, which you see me doing, that was the first place that I went live on Instagram over 2 years ago. And so that was kind of the catalyst to be able to be able to tell myself, I can do this, even if it's scary as an introvert. I can still share my message. And just over time, you become really more comfortable with speaking, sharing in a public platform. It's not going to feel natural at first. But over time, it becomes a little bit more doable the more that you kind of get a feel for it. So yes, y'all. You're so welcome, Carol. Thank you for being here as always. Oh, yay. Yes, please do. Yeah, if you need help, assistance, making your strategy, freelancing strategy, the link is in the description section. Please book a call with me. You are welcome. Uplift. I love that. Uplift and Align Wellness. I love that name. Thank you for doing what you do. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. And yes, as we wrap up with this message that Mimi has shared with us, right? Her Uber driver that stopped the Uber ride to get himself coffee. How can you implement this into your own life? How can you take time, space for yourself in the midst of the chaos that we see happening and get your metaphorical coffee so that you feel up for the challenge, right, of the day, so that you feel rejuvenated. So yes, y'all, on that note, I appreciate y'all being here. And until next time, bye, y'all.